Tonight's forecast is sponsored by Ashbrook Audiology, where relationships matter.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Thank you, Luis, for those updates. As always, I'm Weatherman Dustin Staples. We appreciate your company and spending part of your Tuesday here with us. As you know, we have been seeing some rain. We saw that earlier this week. Now the hot heat is here to stay for a couple of days. Now that we are closely in the midst of the dog days of summer, as those will officially come to an end here pretty soon. The unofficial start of that was back in early July, and it runs through the next couple of days or two. So other than that, the dog days of summer will be behind us. And then I'm sure some of you are probably wondering how much longer is it to fall. I think we're about almost 56 or 7 days away from the start of that. So if you're counting those days down like myself, ready for the cooler weather to come in, hang on, we have a lot more of that. And you know, by this time, we don't typically start cooling off until like late October and early November in years past. You know, if you recall the fall of 2019, we had 90 degrees and tornadoes on Halloween. That was impressive stuff. Severe weather outbreak that caused on that was 3 years ago. And hopefully we can have a much calmer start settling into fall as summer is in the midst of the month as well. Here we go. We'll take a look at the next couple of weeks. We love showing this map here because we always like to see where the fluctuations of the heat has always been. And if you've been watching us for the last several weeks, it's been the dome of high pressure. It's been all over Texas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas even too, and seeing some record high triple-digit heat. That dome of high pressure is going to move up and give them some above average, the Midwest states as well. And speaking of the Midwest states, we'd be hard to forget and reminisce our friends out in Kentucky. Whitesburg, I believe, is the name of the town that's out there. Someone may have to correct me on that. They had a record stage of their river flooding out toward the eastern part of Kentucky out here right there, 17 to 19, 20 feet of rain, and they have been seeing rain again already this week. So a hard hit impacted parts of Missouri, even St. Louis still cleaning up, in Kentucky. Friends out here to our neighboring state are going to be cleaning up for quite a while. It does to be looking like just some historic, according to the governor out there, stating that the most historic and devastating flooding in the state's history. So extremes all over the U.S. And speaking of extremes around the U.S. as well, before we get into this, you probably have heard wildfires in I believe it's Montana, California have been seeing some extreme dangerous heat, and they're expecting thunderstorms. But the concern with thunderstorms out towards California is that lightning strike is posing a threat for it. So if they see lightning and the thunderstorms, that could trigger more wildfires out there. So I know it's kind of hard or crazy to think about. We've already got fires already going out there towards Yosemite. One of the largest fires in that area has seen, and it's been a while since they've seen that type of fire activity. But of course, once they do get thunderstorms and if lightning strikes, like, let's say a tree or somewhere where it's already open ground land, that fire could trigger a fire, and then they would most likely be dealing with some damaging grounds out there. So meanwhile, the rain is beneficial. You don't want to have dry conditions on top of a lightning storm. That will just trigger the activity. And again, parts of Montana even seeing just insane fires. People evacuated from their homes just because of that. And the flooding here in parts of the heartland of the U.S. outside of Kentucky and Missouri even. So we are just been a dodging bullet for our sake, to put that as. So far, the summer has been pretty good to us. And one more thing I also want to talk about, I failed to mention on Monday, parts of Rocky Mount saw a little bit of a rotating tornado cloud there. We don't know if it's a confirmed tornado or not, but there was some rotation in some storms that moved in Rocky Mount earlier this weekend. So we're already talking about that, and hopefully if you have also been keeping track of records, seems like August and September we have some type of tornado outbreak. Hopefully we won't have to be going through that, and we'll keep you updated on the latest severe weather threat as well. The only severe weather, pretty much, if you want to call it severe, it's just the heat. It's just going to be hot over the next several days, and our dew points are not going to be cooling off much either, staying in the muggy to tropical range for us the rest of the week as well. And that's typical summertime pattern that we do see for this time of year. Here's our outlook for the rest of the evening hours and going into your overnight on your Tuesday. Hot and muggy, not as wet. Again, it's going to be warm to say the least, so maybe you want to hit the pool this afternoon, maybe coming off of work. I know the kiddos, a week from today, Martinsville cities go back to school, so maybe hit those lakes while you can, and also maybe get back on a sleep schedule. Like some of us, I know that the days of those sleeping nights and getting up early in the morning is always exciting, particularly for a young kid. Like anybody, it's summertime. You want to stay up late and sleep in and get those extra Z's, like we all could do, like myself, every now and again. So other than that, just get back on a regular sleep time pattern. And speaking of the nighttime, maybe you're going to be doing some camping outdoors, a lot of things we do in our beautiful neck of the woods and parts of Philpott up towards Ferrystone. A lot of RVs and visitors come into town and camp out at night and do some of those recreational activities, bonfires, and remember the bug spray? Keep an eye on those as well, the mosquitoes and ticks and the snakes even. Make sure your dogs, you're also protected them too, so they can have the amount of DEET and all that stuff and those bug sprays and those anti-bug detectors, so making sure they're not attacking you or your furry friend out there. Lows tonight in the 60s to near 70, so maybe if you're out there in those RVs and are visiting our parts of the region, you may want to have some extra fans going, or better yet, have the windows open too. Well, you can keep that in mind. Temperatures tomorrow, hot again. We're going to get hotter on Thursday, mid-90s possible. A mix of sun and clouds, but the only difference is that we may have enough heat and instability where we could trigger and fire up a few afternoon thunderstorms, as our highs are going to be in the upper 80s, low to mid-90s. You see across from Rocky Mount down towards Ferrystone, Philpott Lake, maybe hitting the waters on your boat. Do know, remember when lightning strikes, it is a good idea to get off the water as you're doing those plans out there as well. And why not? Let's go ahead and jump to the weekend. I know you're saying, Dustin, the school's starting. Why is this? You show me the weekend. You're like, oh my goodness. Well, hey, you know what though? That's the best part of getting back to school. You have your 5-day work school week, teachers even. You got a couple of days of relaxation, I guess. Hey, maybe doing some back to school shopping on our sales tax-free holiday weekend. Let's have the umbrella around with you. Hot, 90 degrees, a scattered 50-50 chance for both Sunday and Saturday right there as well. Remain quite warm on our Sunday evening, afternoon too. So if you're going to do anything outdoors, just do know you're going to have a plan B just in case. We may see some of those storms fire up in the afternoon. There'll be a southwest breeze out there from time to time. So the key things to take away this week, or today, I guess, or going into your Wednesday, if you're doing anything, outdoors, just, enjoy it, because it's not going to be as, wet or, I guess, humidly feeling in the air. Yes, it'll still be, that dew point factor will be in the 60s, but of course we'll cool off hopefully a little bit thanks to some of those clear skies. That'll help our radiational cooling take a part of fact. Now, of course, if you know people, that live around the uptown Martinsville, we get that heat urban island effect, basically meaning we get those sky towers, or we really don't have skyscrapers here in the city, but those tall buildings along that concrete, allowing that heat just to be stuck right there, not allowing that heat to escape much at night. So basically, if you go, say you go to Roanoke, maybe there's a lot more of those metal constructed buildings everywhere, maybe like a city like New York City, where if you do live downtown Times Square, which is a little bit more of a hectic spot if you ask me, but of course, you got the skyscrapers and you have the Empire State Building. Those buildings, you get those buildings tightly confined right there. That heat urban island effect, it doesn't have a lot of time to let that heat escape, as everything's kind of secluded together in that concrete, also making it where it was hotter throughout the days. It didn't have a chance to cool off. Whether or not there may be a little shaded spotty again here and there, but anyway, so we do get heat urban island effect here in our area, not just like Roanoke or Lynchburg. If you watch some of the regional stations right here, they talk about heat urban island. A lot of people think, are we surrounded around an island that's in an urban area? So anyway, so that's just your science fact of the day. So kiddos, I'm going to be giving you some early science facts, because that is the way to get your mind back in the rhythm of school here. So anyway, enjoy your week off before you head back to the classrooms next week. We wish all of our teachers open houses scheduled all this week, so stay tuned. We'll be updating you on all of those as well. In the meantime, if you go ahead and stick around with us, we have a lot more BTW21 great local programming coming up after a few words from our sponsors.
Your BTW21 weather forecast is sponsored by Zentmeyer Chiropractic.